Hi, I'm Brad Willingham. This is my end of the year report for edu508. I'll be reporting to the Eldon School Board for the Eldon Middle School. I'll start off with the actual records. I'll start with the fall sports. Football, we had a record of 7-2. And our budget was about $8,000, and we were minus about $495. Some of the recommendations for next year would be to cut the budget about $2,200, and hopefully we will able to hire another assistant coach. In volleyball in the fall sports, or the girls volleyball 7th and 8th grade. The 7th grade went 12-15 with volleyball this year, and the 8th graders were 18-8. And the volleyball team is the budget for the 2017-18 budget was $3,000, and we were minus $275. We could also use another assistant coach. Actually, the assistant coach we have, we could use a second one, but no new hires are really recommended at this time. Now, the cheerleaders, they basically, their budget was $1,000, and they would like to have a couple of new uniforms to accommodate some that were torn from last year, and they're minus about $183 for this year's budget. When it comes to now we go on to the winter sports. Boys basketball, the 7th grade was 0-23. They had a budget of $5,000. They're minus about $280. Hopefully we get some. We'd like to cut some things so that we can purchase some new basketballs next year, and maybe even get 7th grade some new uniforms, or scratch that 8th grade new uniforms, and then give the ones that 8th grade have right now to the 7th grade. The girls basketball team was 12-13. And they have a budget of $4,000, and they're minus about $110. We'd like to increase the budget a little bit next year. They also could use some new uniforms. We've been using the same ones for about 5 or 6 years, and they definitely need to be replaced. Wrestling this year, the stats on that were they went 7-2 on 8th grade in their duels. And 7th grade was very close to that with 6-4. Now, when it comes to the spring sports, here at the middle school, we have basically track, and our boys' track were really, they did pretty well. There's actual. I think they did well when it comes to the actual conference and the districts, and their budget for the year was about $2,000, and they were minus about $112. And we need to really probably increase the amount of the budget at least by $1,500 to accommodate buying some new sweats, maybe even buying a couple new pole vaults, pits. Well, not pits, but pole vault poles. Excuse me. Some of the highlights from this year for football, we had one student, Justin Merida. He's an 8th grader. He rushed for 1,000 yards this year, which actually was one of our big highlights for the football season. In volleyball this year, one of our students, Sally Johnson, had 25 aces in a row. And then with cross country in the fall, we had all of our runners placed in the top 10 at the state this year. When it came to basketball, we had a really good season. For the most part, eighth grade more than seventh grade. Our eighth graders did. The team as a whole shot 92% at the free throw line, which is pretty outstanding. Wrestling, we had two of our wrestlers won every match that they did this year, which is also very impressive, and went on to some high rankings in conference and district this year. And then when it comes to track in the spring, one of our eighth grade athletes, Tom Smithson, pole vaulted 10 foot 2 inches to take first at conference. So we had a good season. Some of the things that we might need to do next year, we really don't need new hires for volleyball, but cross country, we definitely need to hire for a new head coach. The assistant wants to stay the assistant and we really don't need another assistant. We need an actual head coach. For football, we recommend hiring 2 new assistant coaches. We had 2 that moved on up to the high school level, as you know, and now we need to replace a couple of those guys. Hopefully we have another good season this year, our upcoming season, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.